Yo, people, and welcome to For a Different Lens podcast. I'm your co-host, Joe.
I'm Jacob.
How we doing, my brother? You good?
All okay, all okay. Fighting the demons, fighting the Wi-Fi right now to try and make this recording happen, but we're good to go.
Are you saying the technical issues have been trying to bring you down for a minute,
Bro,
isn't
couple of weeks, couple of weeks.
it? And the worst thing, yeah, these Wi-Fi people, yeah, they're mad because you'll call them or book them or whatever. It's not an instant thing that they'll come and sort it out.
Mm-mm. Always 3 weeks, two
Yeah,
weeks. Thinking
like,
like I don't need it today.
bro, anytime people are moving to new yards, I always ask them, like, did you call your Wi-Fi people like 2 weeks ago? Like, say they've
Hmm.
just moved in, and they'll be like, "Oh no, 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 just call it." I was like, "Yeah, you're waiting for a minute still."
Yeah, they come and they do. The thing is, I feel like they come and make everything worse. It's like when you take your car to the showroom, it always comes out of more problems. So they always
Mm.
come into they give themselves more jobs to do. But I don't know.
No, it's true, it's true, bro.
I don't
But
know.
how you been anyway? I feel like I ain't seen you for a minute actually. I don't think, or a couple weeks.
Yeah, all okay, man. All okay. Obviously, playoff final this Sunday, so gearing up for that. That's kind of what everything's going towards this week. So yeah, just been resting really, resting and chilling out, and just trying to
Mm.
get things done. And then around that, but mainly just resting, recuperating, ready for Sunday, last game of the season. Put it all on the line there. Hopefully, win the game, and have a good summer.
Literally, this is game seven. this
Literally that.
this is game seven,
Hmm.
or this is your Super Bowl, bruv.
Hmm.
You lot are trying to do a Packers Super Bowl run, innit?
Yeah, coming from a wild card to literally, literally to
2010
winning it.
Packers Super Bowl run. Hey, that's way. Hey, like if you lot do that, I think you have to wear a Packers jersey. I can't lie.
The old Aaron Rodgers. That's what it'll be. The old Aaron Rodgers.
Nah, just get a couple man to have what's his wide receivers?
Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson. What's the one on
James Jones.
James Jones? Hey, trust, bro.
You have Greg Jennings as well. Like all of
Greg,
them, man.
that's it. Greg Jennings. Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You lot. God willing, you lot win, but start sorting out those custom made package jerseys. Or obviously you'll find Aaron Rodgers, but you need to find all the other ones as well.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's a Packers run. That is a big time thing. But since we're already on NFL,
Mm.
George Pickens. I don't know if you did it happen last week or I can't
I
remember it.
think it happened whilst we were recording last week.
Right.
Yeah.
George Pickens to the Cowboys. What do you think of
Mm.
that trade?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I feel like it's great for the Cowboys. Um, just in terms of like you now have two number ones. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You give Dak no excuses. You have everything to play for now. You have all pieces kind of in place. I don't know about their running game still. It's a bit,
Yeah.
voodoo. But they throw the ball 40, 50 times a game anyway, so it's better to have one number one wide receivers there. I feel like it works perfectly for George Pickens. He's a character that Jerry seems to like, one that will work in Dallas. Mad people. So
Right.
I feel like it's a good move. I feel like it's a good move. I don't know what the Steelers are doing, but I really don't know what the Steelers are doing in general. So I feel like it's a good move for the Cowboys in general. To kind of kickstart their offseason because they hadn't really made many big time moves or
Mm.
any moves whatsoever. So yeah, I
I
feel like
think
it's a good one.
they were just in the draft. Their priority was shoring up their offensive line even more because
Mm,
they're predicted to have a really good O line. Like
yeah.
basically them starting it over the last couple of years and then it probably finding its feet by the end of this upcoming season. That's what I've been hearing, like a few analysts saying. So, like, maybe that's the thing. But you made a good point in terms of the running back situation. They seem to be at their best when they've got a good running back. So it's not Dak throwing, like you said,
Yeah.
unlimited amount of time in the game.
Hmm.
But yeah,
What do you think of the move for both parties, Steelers and Cowboys? Because you know,
I understand why the Steelers done it because they've just brought in Metcalf and Pickens is getting paid. Well, he's up to get paid next summer.
mm,
Um, and I think with the baggage that comes with Pickens, I don't think they felt like it was worth it. And for the Steelers of all teams to not feel was worth it, because apparently it was a Matt Tomlin decision.
oh okay,
And we know he's dealt with the personalities in that position, in that
100%.
team in general, for 15 years or however long,
Mm-hmm.
and for Mike Tomlin to basically give it the green light, it shows like that internally there was an issue and Pickens was their number one. Obviously, Pickens performed fairly good with poor quarterback play, but then the you can't even say off the field issues because his issues were on the field.
Yeah.
The negativity of the way he reacted, sometimes not giving effort on plays and stuff like that. Whereas like the previous Steelers problem makers, all
Mm.
their shit's been off the field. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, their stuff is crazy. It's not even comparable, is it?
Mm.
But it's not been an on the field thing. It's not affected their level of play. Whereas
Right.
the
Right.
Pickens
Right.
thing did. So I probably feel like from the Steelers' point of view, they were seeing it like that. And whether they get a good quarterback or not, that's out of question. Who knows, innit? Like, whereas they might wait in the draft to get one next year, because next year's draft's predicted to be better than this year's. So maybe that's what that is. And then from the Cowboys' point of view, I think it's very good in terms of the pairing for CD Lamb, because CD Lamb took on a lot of weight last season. Like,
Mm.
obviously he's top 5, but you still need help. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Dak's got another target, very good, like deep target. For instance, CD Lamb can play a bit more in the slot again.
Mm-hmm.
So, like from an offensive standpoint, on paper it looks great.
But that's not
That
the Cowboys,
that
though.
pairing,
The
but
Cowboys
then
always look great on paper.
yeah, but I don't feel like for a while they've had like a duo like this. For instance, do you know what I mean? Because Pickens is arguably a one, or his trajectory is to be a one, isn't it?
Yeah, you
So
want to be paid like a one, if anything.
exactly. So he may overperform contract year. So
Right. Right.
I think like this could be a great one-off year for the Cowboys if he doesn't cause no issues. Not
Mm.
obviously, I don't know him personally, and he performs or outperforms and can help CD Lamb again, helping Dak. Then offensively they could have a superb year in it. So,
No, I agree.
but then when it's time to pay, who knows what Jerry Jones is going to do?
I agree. I agree. To your point on the Steelers looking for someone maybe in the next year's draft, the next year's draft thing is really annoying me when people are saying it. Do you know why? Because you don't actually know
I
what's
agree.
going on next year.
Yeah.
So when everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Archie Manning and this and that," I'm like, "You don't know how they're going to perform this year, and you don't know how they're going to slide or do well. So why are you
Mm-hmm.
predicting for next year? Like, pick for now, play for now, and then go and see what happens. Instead of doing, oh, okay, we're going to wait for next year, or we're going to wait for Aaron Rodgers, or we're going to wait and do this. Just pick a pick. Take someone that you want and you need right now. Develop
Yeah.
them. That's your job as a team, and see if they fit in the system. So that's what's killing me.
You're not wrong, but at the same time, with college quarterbacks, the ones that either are predicted to have like their better next year, for instance, get ready for the draft, or they're already performing right now, but they're not eligible for the draft or for this
Mm.
draft that just went. You see them like you see they still hold their value, if that makes sense.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
so I'm just trying to think who was obviously not this. Travis Hunter was the college player of the year. What's the Heisman? Who was
Heisman.
Heisman last year again?
Last year's in the draft before, like Caleb Williams draft.
Yeah, was it Jaden Daniels?
It was one of them. I think so. It was
No,
it was
because Caleb. That's it. All right, I'm making a point. I'm glad you mentioned Caleb. Caleb won it the year before he got drafted.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because of that trajectory.
Eligibility.
So his final year in college, for instance, in a weird way, it's like they didn't care as much as long as he just maintained the standard. Because he was still
Understood.
going to be a high draft pick, and he still went number one, even though like his team didn't do great. So
Un- Understood, but it's not the same like where the quarterbacks of next year's draft haven't won the Heisman. Obviously, Travis Hunter was a standout player, but you
yeah,
get what I mean. They're not even in that conversation for winning the
yeah,
Heisman this year. So what's going to make you think next year is going to be, oh, okay, we have this great draft class? Because it's all hit and hope. We know this. We know this. Like, if we knew what we knew back then, Patrick Mahomes
yeah,
would be number one pick. Josh Allen would have been. Do you get what I mean? Lamar
yeah,
Jackson would like. We all know that they don't actually know.
yeah.
They're
Because
just
Lamar
hoping.
won Heisman didn't he play another year and then
And then he got drafted last pick in the first round.
32? So him and Caleb is actually a good comparison in the sense that they both won Heisman the year before they got drafted. Caleb went
Mm,
one, Lamar went, was it 32 in the draft?
yeah. Last pick in the
So
first round.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you on the Steelers, like in terms of like their draft aspect, because they've not replaced Big Ben.
No. But they don't look like they wanted to. They look like they've
Yeah.
just been trying to. They're happy with going 500 or more each season and then just saying, okay, cool. We're
Mm,
here. We're steady for now. Don't know what's going to happen next year.
yeah. I think they tried small with Kenny Pickett, but obviously just yeah.
Yeah.
And again, when like you said, if you're gonna always be that 500, because they've not won a playoff game in time now. So like,
Yeah, like 8 years.
yeah, now the pressure's on like Mike Tomlin. As much as you can have a 500 slash winning record, bro, like having even one playoff win in the NFL in just argument's sake, a 2-3 year span, it actually counts.
It does. It does because it's hard enough to get there. So you need
Yeah.
to make enough wins. But they don't have a succession plan. Like that was, I think, the Steelers' problem. They let Big Ben stay for too long, or not even stay for
Mm,
too long. They didn't have a succession plan in place. You see
yeah.
how like the Green Bay Packers always have a succession plan in place.
That's
Like
a great
as
point.
as much as like the quarterbacks at the time might not like it, that has to happen for the
Yeah.
next person to come in. And you can see like more organizations are taking that kind of route in terms of
Approach.
like Patrick Mahomes. Alex Smith was the quarterback, but they knew, okay, cool, Patrick Mahomes is here. Do you get what I
And
mean?
the Chiefs were making the playoffs with Alex Smith, winning
Exactly.
records. Yeah, no, it's a good
Exactly.
point.
The Eagles, they drafted Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz was the quarterback. They had a few quarterbacks before, playing at
Hmm.
MVP level. Nick Foles won the MVP in the Super Bowl, but they have a succession plan going.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Whereas, and I feel like
But
better
that's the thing,
organizations are
like,
run.
obviously it's easier said than done. But I always do wonder what like these GMs kind of see? Like why don't you copy or somewhat imitate what the Eagles do, for instance? Do you know what I mean? I feel like as fans, it's slightly easier for us to kind of just say, oh yeah, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And whereas teams, they have the GMs that do, and there's the support staff that do all the scouting. Um, but at the same time, the flip side to it is sometimes something could be right in front of your face. Um, and it even happens in our football. I say our football for American followers or listeners. The English football league, like you'll be like, why didn't this manager make this change? Why doesn't this manager go for this transfer target? Let me just bring up Arsenal for instance. Over the last 2 years, Arsenal fans, I'm not hating on you. I'm actually like promoting this. Why haven't you gone and signed a proper nine? Do you know what I mean? A proper striker. That has been your issue. Like I thought last summer, if Arsenal had signed a striker, I thought they'd win the league. Me personally, like a very good striker, but seemed to be a stumbling block. And the manager seems to prioritize other positions, quite defensive positions, when the team is great defensively, had the best defensive record bar this season, the previous 2 years or whatever in that time frame. But it's like, bro, your issue is a lack of number nine. And sorry, going back to the NFL, it's like some teams, some GMs, some head coaches, why are you not trying to draft a proper quarterback? Sometimes, like, oh, we're gonna wait till next year. Next year, you might be fucked. Like, you might be out of a job. Um, so it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. I don't know what the Steelers are doing. Whether they want to get Aaron Rodgers. I think the boys spoke about it on last week's recording when I went on it. Um, about just where Aaron Rodgers is going to go in general. And obviously, when DK got traded to the Steelers, the immediate talk was of him and Aaron Rodgers linking up, Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball in the park or wherever it was, etc. So everyone thought that was going to be the move, but it looks like that didn't exactly come to fruition. So yeah, it's well, it can still come to fruition because they didn't really sort out the quarterback position within the draft. And Aaron Rodgers is still a free agent. It's probably, hey, he might be in Peru. He might be doing some ayahuasca. Who knows? A-Rod. He does what he wants. But what did I want to touch up on? NBA. Guys, come on. No one, the boys spoke about it in last week's recording, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this particular segment on the NBA. Bro, these playoffs have been superb. Like, anyone can get it. Anyone can get it. Obviously, it was super unfortunate in terms of Jason Tatum's injury for the Celtics. Like, bro, and the fact he was hooping in that game, that was like, even though the Celtics were about, I think they were 9 down, and the Knicks were just on fire in that fourth quarter. Obviously, clutch player of the year, Brunson doing his thing. Mikal Bridges has just been, in the fourth quarter, he's been alive in these playoffs. He can have poor 1 to 3 quarters, fourth quarter. That jumper, that 2-point, yeah, Mikal's bringing it, not even bringing it back. That's his game. But yeah, going back to Jason Tatum, he looked like he was having one of those games, one of those generational playoff games. What was he on, 42 or 40 something points? It's like the way he was playing, even though the Knicks were doing well offensively, I wouldn't have been surprised if he went for 55 plus and then clawed the Celtics back into the game and then winning that game. And again, like, he's one of the best players in the NBA. Arguably a top 5 player. Obviously, now people are either going to overcompensate because of his injury. Some maybe say he was undervalued on the other side end of the stick as well. And I just always feel like Jason Tatum, for instance, he's always been, in my eyes, I've rated him where he should be. And he should have that level of respect. He should have had it pre-injury and post-injury. So yeah, it's an interesting one. But yeah, as I was saying, the NBA playoffs, obviously speaking about JT, covered that. And then just the excitement of how the Knicks have been, bro. Like, can they do it? Can they win the Eastern Conference? Can they win the NBA title? Obviously, forward thinking. But like, bro, like, it's a mad situation. And I've always said, like, it just seems great if the Knicks are in full flow. It's great for the NBA. Their fan base looks like the maddest fan base. There was reports like when they were down 20 in, I think, game 2 or game 3, they were like, yeah, this is exactly where we want you. To the defending champions, the Boston Celtics. You can't talk like that. You can't talk about some of our team like that. I'd be absolutely fuming. But yeah, now it's just making the NBA even more entertaining. And the fact that, like, we're basically going to have a different NBA champion for the 7th or 8th year in a row shows the league is super competitive. I don't think a champion has got to the conference finals the following round again, which is crazy. Following year, sorry, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, injuries have played a massive part, which is a shame because we saw that with the Warriors. I did think the Timberwolves were going to beat them this postseason, but the fact that one of the greatest players, arguably a top 10 player of all time, the greatest shooter that God has created, Stephen Curry, got injured. It's like, bro, it's like, I was hoping you'd at least I genuinely think the Warriors would have taken it to a game. I think I might have tweeted 6, Timberwolves in 6, but it might have been a game 7. I wouldn't have been a surprise. And then Steph Curry in game 7s is one of the best scorers of all time in game 7s. I think he might be in the top 5 in terms of points per game in game 7, maybe top 4. It's like you got Mike, MJ, LeBron, like a couple other guys, and Steph's there. And it's like, bro, not Steph, man. Like, and the fact he's 37 years old and then you're getting an injury like that in the playoffs, it's a shame. But the Timberwolves, they did what they needed to do. They handled their business. It took slight time, and I say slight time, they won in 5, but in terms of the games being close. So yeah, you back, Jake?
Yeah, I think so. If you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, see you, clear.
Yes, I'm back. I heard you speaking about the Warriors.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just saying, it's just one following up from you and Dej's conversation last week about the playoffs. Anyone can get it. It
Mm.
being like super entertaining, and the fact that we're gonna get a different champion for the 7th or 8th year in a row, shows the level the NBA is at. One, and then two, obviously injuries have played a part. But it's exciting. And then your Warriors. I had the Timberwolves, I think, winning in 6, maybe 7, but at least this was pre-Steph injury. At least if Steph was there, we would have maybe got a 7-game series.
I
Um,
think so.
and then if it went to Game 7, I was saying Steph's one of the best all-time players in Game 7s. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a shame, man. Like we just don't want to see our greats come towards the end of their career and then
Yeah.
them get injured in these key moments. Like that's two huge injuries, arguably two top 10 players in Tatum and Steph that have been injured this playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously LeBron doing his MCL, but
Yeah.
not like. But it's like it's crazy. You can see obviously Tatum's in the prime of his career. He's gonna have his career anyway because the Achilles injury is sad to see. But as we've seen KD's come back and he's looked the same, I don't think there's any issue of what we're gonna be seeing from Tatum when he does come back. And
Yeah.
and he's played a lot longer than it says on paper because of the playoff runs.
I think since he's was it since 2017, since his first playoff run, he's easily played the most minutes in the league.
110%. He's played like a couple of extra seasons just
Yeah.
because of all these playoff runs, all the minutes on his body, and sometimes I saw it's so unfortunate, but sometimes you can see it. It's gonna rear to a dead end at some point. You get what I mean? And that's sadly what it did for Jason Tatum, especially he's having his best game of the series. But
Bro, that's what I was saying. It's like that was one of his generational games. Obviously, again, they were down 9, and the Knicks offense, Brunson and Bridges were just doing their thing. But Tatum could have still potentially won the Celtics the game. I don't think he
100%.
would have, but if he did, it would have been that Jason Tatum game.
In the
Game
garden
5.
as well. In the
Yeah.
garden as well. It meant
Yeah. Like those kind of like his game 6 that knocked off the box a couple years when they were the defending champs. But
well.
this might have been even more monumental given that they were behind, etc. All that stuff. Just like, bro, it's a shame.
But you did say there could be a new champion. We don't know if OKC are coming through this series because that series is going 7 games, 110%. Denver are winning at home, and we know it's going back to OKC for a game 7, and then it comes down to experience again.
I mean, game 6 is tonight, right?
Yeah, but then all it comes down to is experience after this because I know Jokic is going to a game 7, and then I
Yeah,
know it's
yeah.
going to be who is the most experienced and who is the best player in the court, which Jokic has proven most nights bar one.
Mm.
But the
But
one
to
game
be
he
fair,
failed
he
out.
had that 3-game stretch where he was shooting like 33 or 35% from the field.
But it's the totality of things he does. It's not just the points.
Mm.
You get
But
what I
to be
mean?
fair, that's another good thing they've done on him this series is they've kind of limited his assists. Like obviously, game 5, the game was tight when he went. Was it 44 and 15? He only had 6 assists, and again, the Nuggets missed some shots. If they made like 3 of those threes, they would have probably won and gets 9 or 10 assists. But Jokic usually at his best when he's got like the 30-point triple doubles.
Mm.
Because I saw a stat like when he's had multiple 40+ games over the last couple of years, they've lost.
No, it's true. It's true. But with the game 5 in
Mm.
the last quarter, Jokic went 4 of 6, and the rest of the team went 1 of 15. So,
Yeah, that was crazy.
so how do you expect to win a game if he's the only one making shots and he wasn't in the game for? Well, he actually was in the game for the whole time. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
So he goes 4 of 6, and the rest of the team goes 1 of 15. You aren't winning a game like that because that means 5 shots were made in the fourth quarter.
yeah,
A 7 minute stretch where you don't score any points, and you're up, and you only lose by what 6?
yeah. But then, even if it does go to a game 7, I just think OKC's too deep. Like the Nuggets rotation is literally about 6 guys, maybe 6.5, 7 guys the odd time.
It might
OKC
be.
are going 10 deep, and it's like you can see Jokic last game especially. he was tired in the fourth quarter, but he's trying to draw fouls for them to get break. But it's like, bro, Jamal Murray's playing mad minutes, whereas like I don't think on OKC no one's averaged over 35 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Or
Understood, but game 7, you know what it comes down to. You know that rotation that's 10 right now. We'll get to 7 because you only need certain people on the floor because it's now about getting to the next round. You're not going to rotate. I
listen,
don't think you're going to play 10 deep in the game 7.
oh no, facts. But the fact they had the opportunity to do that last game 5 and win. Even if they go back to 7-8 man rotation, they're still fresher over the course of the series.
100%.
And they didn't. The Nuggets did 7-game series last round. Okay, so you went 4, bro. So it's like, bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, you know, it's. But you know, I feel like it's just going to come down to. It's going to a game 7, in my opinion, and it's just going to come down to those final few moments. Who do you trust more in the clutch time, and who's been there? Do you get what I mean?
Do you know what they need? They should do. If the Nuggets win Game 6 tonight, they should announce MVP straight after.
Nah, they're adding fuel to the fight. Even though Jokic probably don't care about it that much, you get what I mean?
Yeah, but like that would just because we know it's just between them two. We know Shea's more likely to win it, but I announce MVP just before and make Shea get the presentation just before Game 7 starts. Obviously, if it goes to Game 7. But no, how do you think the Timberwolves will do? Do you think they've got a chance of? Well, they have. It'll be a 1-4 chance, but do you think they can win the NBA title?
I like them a lot, but I don't know if they could win the championship this year. I feel like whoever they meet on the other side is going to be either OKC or Denver. Denver, I feel like, need the revenge.
All right. Let me just do a hypothetical. Say Denver are out, and say the Celtics are out.
Yeah.
You got 4 fresh teams in the Pacers, the Knicks. I say fresh from a non-winning perspective. Yeah. Pacers, Knicks, OKC, and Timberwolves. Who would be your favorite to win? In fact, what would be your NBA matchup final? Then who would win that NBA matchup final?
I think it's OKC and the Knicks. And I think I go OKC at that point, just because it's now youth versus youth kind of, and I'm going a better team at that point. And, you know, I don't think OKC can really blow out the Knicks. I don't think they'll play close games.
But do you think we've fallen into the trap again of underrating the Pacers? Because this is back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals, and like OKC, obviously they play different style, but they go deep as well, and they actually use their rotation. So, and we've seen that Halliburton's been fresh in fourth quarters, and he's been either clawing them back to win games, or they're just blowing out teams.
Understood, but if it gets down to clutch time, who do you trust more, Halliburton or?
Well, I mean, they've got the clutch player of the year in the Knicks and Brunson, but Halliburton's been clutch, bro. The Pacers, bro, they've done historic things this playoff. They've done it twice when it's only been done 3 times in NBA history. And they've got 2 of it from this playoffs of coming back from 7 within the final minute.
Understood, but the Cleveland were banged up. Cleveland were injured this series, which has been the case of all playoffs. I'm not gonna say this. I'm not gonna say.
Bro, you're not wrong, but banged up or not, the Bucks were up within that time frame. Cleveland were up with it. You got up to that time frame to lose those leads.
Understood.
Within that time frame is
understood, but I'm saying Indiana have not played a healthy team yet.
Yeah, no, that I fully agree.
And the Knicks are going to be the most healthy team if the Knicks get there at this point, because I've seen the Knicks do a lot of things in my life. So
it'll be so New York. It'll be so the Knicks. Sorry.
So if the Knicks do get there, then obviously that will be a great matchup, because obviously Indiana and the Knicks have a history and a rivalry that goes back to Reggie Miller and them. It goes back way before them, which is very interesting. If you haven't watched the documentary Winning Time, you got to watch it, because that's what it is. It delves deep into. So that'll be a very interesting Eastern Conference Finals. It actually feels like the 90s again in some aspect. But I truly believe that I think that it'll be OKC to win the title, because I feel like they will actually beat the Timberwolves in like 6 games, 5 or 6 games.
5?
Yeah, I think they'll beat the Timberwolves in 5 or 6 games.
I don't. That would be hard to call. I think it'll be hard to call. I can't lie.
Do you know why though? Because look at the series that the Timberwolves have played. Yeah, they played against the Lakers, where the Lakers have no one to. They have no rim protection. They have no big men. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
Size beats them. They beat the Lakers. LeBron's old. Luca moved there. This a team, no defense. Cool. They beat them. They beat
yeah.
the undermanned Warriors. Not really undermanned, but you get what I mean. You don't have Steph.
Well, I'm the man, bro. Steph.
You don't have Steph. You're undermanned. You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You beat the undermanned Warriors, but now you're going into a game against OKC or Denver. Yeah, but
Mm,
OKC for what we're saying, who have the top one of the two best players in the league right this season anyway, and a squad
yeah.
and the size and the length and everything to not to put off Anthony Edwards, and you won't have the best player on the court. Because be honest, the best player on the court has been Anthony Edwards in these past two series because superstars either haven't turned up or just aren't there. Um,
But sorry to cut you off. The flip side is everything the pros you name for OKC, the Timberwolves are fairly similar in terms of like the size, the play, and it's weird because I don't feel the Timberwolves have been that impressive, bar Julius Randle in terms of his overall consistency, and then Ant's overall play.
yeah,
But they're winning games when I don't feel like they've been great. If that makes sense, do you know what I mean?
but do you see sometimes when you watch them and they're winning games when they don't think they've been great. Maybe that's the only way they can actually. That's their best performances we're seeing from them. Do you get what I mean? Because we're seeing it so consistently, maybe that's their best. As much as they're saying, "Oh, we didn't shoot well, we didn't do this well." Well, maybe this is your best, but you're winning these games. You're just gonna run
Yeah,
into someone better than you, and sometimes that happens.
yeah. No, I do hear it. I just think that series um will be 6 or 7 games, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Timberwolves won because I actually think they can go machine for machine with OKC. When the Timberwolves get hot, they're ridiculous, bruv.
Yeah, yeah, they
They're
are.
actually but they've got the flip side of going ultra cold as well. But then I feel like last season's playoff run would actually has helped them this season alone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas again, when I feel like they haven't been great, they'll just shut teams down,
Mm-hmm.
which they can do. Obviously, the Thunder can do it as well. Then,
But
but I'm
my
just excited. I just want four completely different teams, and it's crazy because any team that wins it, you won't even put them overwhelming favorites for next season,
no, no,
especially
no, no.
the
They'll
way
be
the,
the same
the way the
favorite we
West
have.
is, for instance. Yeah,
Yeah, well, because obviously the Mavs are going to be a contender next year with their. Do you get what I mean? They got the number one draft pick. Like, there's going to be a lot of changes that happen in the offseason that are going to change a lot of things. We don't know what teams are actually going to look like. So
mm,
you know, what the Minnesota could win the title this year or get to the finals this year, and next year you'll be saying, "Nah, don't think they're going to win anything." Do you get what I mean?
mm,
Regardless, out the East, whoever goes to the finals this year, you're going to be saying, "No, they're not winning next year."
yeah. Facts,
Do you
facts,
get what I
facts,
mean?
facts.
So it's going to be an interesting one for next
Do you
season.
think
But
that with Tatum's injury, it's even a better opportunity, for instance, for Giannis to stay in the East for at least one more year, or like any of the great players in the West that are potentially going to get traded, just say Kevin Durant, go into the East, like because the Celtics aren't going to be overwhelming favorites next year because there's no Tatum throughout the whole season,
yeah,
and they arguably have to upload because they're the highest paying team in the league, and well, I say arguably one or two players at least are going this offseason for the Celtics.
have to. They have to make a move. Do I think players should go to the East? I've been saying players should go to the East anyway if you want
Yeah,
their chance
yeah,
to win
same.
the title. Um,
But
I don't
next
think
year,
Giannis.
especially,
Yeah, but I don't think Giannis is staying in the East. I'll just be real. I just don't think he's staying in the East because there's not an attractive market for him to go to other than the Knicks.
mm,
And I don't know if the Knicks are going to want to offload. If the Knicks get to where the promised land, they get to the finals. I don't know if they're going to want to offload the talent that they've
yeah,
got there. You get what I mean? Changing the winning team at that point, there's no point. And you're going to want to pay Jalen Brunson soon. He's on like a nice hometown deal.
yeah, he nice them just for the
Yeah,
Villanova boys to get paid and all that.
that's the
Yeah,
thing. You just traded for Cats on a max deal. You got OG Ananobi. You got Mikel. You got a lot of money flowing in that, and then you add Giannis to that situation. It's going to be a bit
I
mad.
know they'd have to get rid of a few players because the Knicks they pay players well as well.
Exactly.
So
So
yeah,
East, I would say Giannis moves out of the East, but if we get another superstar coming back the opposite way, I don't know who that may be. Obviously, Kevin Durant being the number one target that's going to be moving from the West or just going to be moving teams. But,
Yeah.
there could be many people on the move.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. It's true. Song of the week.
Yes, song of the week this week. What is my song of the week?
I actually forgot mine, which is annoying.
What was I
I know
listening to
it.
this morning?
I know it.
What
I
was I
know it.
listening to?
I know my
Go,
song of the week.
go, Tree. Go on. You go and give me your song of the week, and then I'll.
Song of the week. Mine is Turbo and Gunner, Classy Girl.
Mm.
So that's my song of the week.
Nice. My song of the week this week is Kanye West, Champion.
That madman.
Yeah, he's a maniac, but the music, we're separating the music from the artist nowadays.
100% that one. I agree, especially with his music.
Because
Yep.
but that song specifically because the weekend is coming up and we need the right build up for the champion. So
Amen.
that is
Amen. Amen. Cool. That's our song of the week. I guess we can wrap it up, my brother.
yes.
Hopefully, I'll see you this weekend. You get me? As
Mm-hmm.
Dead likes to say.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
And of course, Jacob.
Like and subscribe.
Get me? Like my brother said, like and subscribe. Please, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Continue supporting the mandem. You get me? We're just trying to blow like you, man. You get me? Trying to entertain for you guys. Sports, anything, anything. But hey, and the reason why I got this on, I'm getting ready for a holiday, bro. You get me? Well, we'll talk about that another day. Joe, MVT signing out, my bro.
Jacob signing out.
Bless, people.
Thank you for listening.